Hello everybody, welcome back to a new One Punch Man the Strongest video. Today we're going to be going over a beginning and returning players guide. So before the video begins, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Join the Discord server in the description down below. And if you'd like to support me, please remember to share the channel around, or you can steal these little 2 numbers and give me some coupons for the game. Anyway, let's get right into it. So, after you make an account and get all signed in and everything, first of all, you need to choose your server. Now, typically, you just choose the latest one. The newest one, just pick it, get it over with, you're done, alright. These servers do fill up quickly. A new one opens every 2 days, and I would generally recommend starting at the beginning or the very end of a month, so that way you can get the black tickets of the next or the current month. Anyway, so after you get your server selected, in this case, I'm going to be using my server. You just press enter, and you're really just on your way. So, I'll see you guys in the next part. So, first off, first thing you need to do every day, your quests. Now, this can be done either using the Saitama, Saitama's aid, or just doing them yourself. However, the first thing you need to do every single day is your daily quests. If you don't do your daily quests, then you are simply falling behind. Always finish your quests every single day. They will give you these rewards, guaranteed, and will help you level up your account. If you don't level up your account, you can't level up your characters, you can't do other modes. It's essentially the baseline. You have to do it. Next up is your daily gem expenditure. What I generally do is I'd buy 5 of these. I already bought 5, but because I tried to record this video at a different time. But you buy 5. It's not 700. It's not 750. It's about 150 gems, and then daily supply vouchers. You get 2 of these. That should be about 100 gems. Total of about 250. And then if there is black tickets, always buy those. They're not currently in the shop because I already bought them. However, this is good. This is what they look like. They're called limited vouchers. So buy those as soon as possible, and the daily stamina and vitality. Also, make sure you get your exclusive packs. I've been a little lazy and I haven't bought these yet, but make sure to get both of these every month. You should have plenty of gems, and it should really be no problem at all. Outside of that, if you're a spender, you can get the daily BT R&D. This is a pretty good deal. $2, you can get like 12 black tickets. Super good deal. But they actually, I think they removed one of the options, so I think getting 12 is more common now. Because I remember there being like a 7, I think. But, yeah. So get that if you're going to spend. Generally a pretty good idea for that one. Also, there's the dailies. These are pretty good as well. But you don't need them. Another daily thing you need to do, make sure you do your ad rewards. You get 350 gems per day. And if you don't have the association backup, then you have to watch ads for this. But that's not a bad deal. 350 gems for just watching a couple ads. It takes about 35 minutes, yeah, but you can just spread it out throughout the day if you remember. So next up is your club. Now, make sure to always join a very active club, and always, before you do anything else, check your club info. You have these rewards, which are based on the club's level. You have your member totals, or your member amounts, or members that are in here. And then outside of that, you have exchange, which you use to trade your shards for possibly other shards. I already requested a Garo shard. Where is it? Garo shard. And then you have your memory shards. I already requested the ones I want. However, you do request Saitama memories, which I will get into. After that, you have club special sale. Now, this is super important because this number right here, the amount of the price that it costs for these, can go into the negatives. So you just get gems from this. Just if your club gets lucky, then you can just get gems and you get this stuff for free. So one of the best things in the game, probably top 1 out of things you want to do every day, is to press that bargain button, and then don't press purchase yet. So keep that in mind. Also, then you have your club quests. I already accepted these, but as you can see, these are the ones I typically do. Try to get these ones. Try to get the club or the stages, and then try to get your club notice. They're just the easiest ones to get, and then you get the rewards as shown. After that, we have the store. This is where you buy those, like the yellow these. It's where you buy that. And outside of that, I'll show off this more later. And then we have competition. This is just a mode. It's very self-explanatory. You get 3 teams, and you attack other people's teams. And whoever gets the most points does win. Game. Honestly, I don't want to say don't do this, but honestly, I don't know anybody who does. So, it's not super important. Then there is also the club exploration. Now, I already did these, but as you can see, there's rare and there's non-rare. So you either get just 15 gems off rip from this, or you can do these. You get 10 gems from the ones that are yours, and you get 15 gems from the rare ones. There's also Club Challenge, which gives you gear, mostly. It starts at Conquerors Kabuto. Whenever you beat a boss, you go up 1. And then eventually, whoever beats this Boros first, then it'll trigger event to unlock this boss. After you complete 50 challenges, then you can get a guaranteed rarity gear. Or at least for this boss here, you can possibly get a buff gear, red gear sketch, which I'll show off later, and some other gear. Then also, you make a team, you fight this guy, and your reward is based on how much damage you do. Honestly, it's not super crazy anymore, mostly because you rarely get anything other than blue gear, but it's still good for early on. Then next up is Resist Invasion. Now the best part is you can sweep this, but you make 3 teams. The first 2 have a certain goal in mind for what they do, and then the 3rd match is just dealing as much damage as possible. I won't show that off because I don't want to lower my damage because I'm at 29 billion, and if I attack again, I will lower that. Alright, so next up is character upgrades. Now, specifically, we're going to focus on these, the 4 here outside of Journey, and actually 5. That's 5. So first of all, you have your evolution. Now, this increases your level cap and increases your stats by a very good margin. Now you do that by getting these qualifications from doing your heroic, nightmare, whatever the hell. And then you get these medals from the normal mode and whatever the hell else you're doing. This is important, as I said, increases your stats and your level cap. So do that. Get it done. It takes a while, but get it done. Skills. Now this is super important to do whenever you get the chance to. Just use your coins, get the skills done, spend them on getting your character upgraded. It's always worth it. As you can see, increase your BP. And once you have a high enough level of your skills, you can increase your skill limit. I think this caps out at 24 or 25. 24. Caps out at 24. So, just get that done. It's good. Gives you lots of stats. Very nice. Limit Break. Now, to Limit Break, you need shards and these medals that you get from Boss Challenge. Now, this is in the Explore area, which is here, Exploration. Then you go to Boss Challenge. Now, specifically, just do all of them. Just get all of them done. You need these for upgrading your characters and getting them all limit breaked, and opening talents, which I'll show you in just a second. But get this done. You just need them. Occasionally, you do get the shards, not all the time. Next up is Awakening. Now, you also need these soul shards. I think they're called fragments in this case. And these like weird awakened chip things. These are hard to get. I would recommend resetting another character if you can, or just farming these in heroic. This is important so that you can get the 5P is what it's called, or extreme passive, where you can gain these stats. Keep in mind, you need to get 5-star limit break first. Then there's Journey. Journey's not important. It's self-explanatory. Do the thing, you get the stuff. And then Talent. You use these coins to unlock these talents. Now, to unlock a talent, you need to... hold on, let me find a character that doesn't have unlocked. There it is. So you need to use your little limit break badges, and you just activate. And boom, your talents are open. Now you gotta level up all these with these coins. And you get those coins from the Talent Perfection. Now, you have 2 different modes, Hero and Monster Perfection. Now, it depends on who you want. Monster, you have only monsters you can put in here. And then on Hero, you can only put heroes. However, the greatest tip you can use is to only have one character with the talents open in a team. The reason why is because then you don't have to split up all your talent coins among all the characters that you're having in your team. So for example, if I had Genos in here, then Genos and Garo would split the coins that I would get. If I have just Garo, then just Garo gets the coins. Also, what's important, make sure you have at least some buffs in here. There is this one where you get an extra effect. You get more drops per use. And then there's also these and this. They are both for Monster and Hero. And these give you a 1.5 times Hero Talent Perfection drop bonus effect. And are super important because they make it actually fucking bearable. Also, a very important thing to note is the double bonus or the current world level. Now, this gives you a 2 times effect on both stamina or stamina drops and on EXP. That's important because it helps you level up faster, as well as helping you get more of your evolution materials and your limit break badges. Which just sucks because it's really hard to get both of those. So then we can go on to the next part. Next up is Conquerors Challenge. Now, first of all is the normal Conquerors Challenge, which has 3 modes, which changes the gear you get on this side each time. The sets don't really matter in this case scenario as they're not super good sets. However, Monk is actually pretty okay. But Conquerors Challenge has 15 stages and costs 8 vitality per run. Now, sweep is available, but you need to pay for lots of sweeps. Speaking of vitality, things that also take vitality are Conquerors Challenge, or for example, Conquerors Challenge, Unnatural Disaster, Talent Perfection, and some other miscellaneous modes, like just random events. Not quite the dice event, but a lot of events do take vitality for fights and things. Yeah, that's the words. Next up is Nightmare, and they mostly introduced buff gears. Everything's mostly the same, maybe a slightly increased amount of difficulty, but overall, not super difficult. Now, on to Epic. Now, this mostly ties into Refinement, which I will show in just a moment, after I introduce Hell Mode too. But this has buff gears and has 20 stages where you need 2 teams for each stage. This can be a lot of difficulty for newer players, as you're going to generally need an SSR Plus character at least to be able to win this. However, you do get like Metal Knight, so that's half the battle already done there. Then you also have the Ultimate mode, where you just kind of sweep it and try to get the highest damage you possibly can, as well as the rewards for doing so, being like 2 of these per day and some of that. And then you also have these rewards. You'll see them when you do them. And then you also get the progress rewards for clearing the stages. Each boss has their own clearance rewards, keep in mind. And then the ranking reward, don't worry about this. You're not gonna get high rankings unless you're paying a shit ton, so keep that in mind. Then there is Hell Mode. Hell Mode is very similar in the way that it is for red buff gears instead of red gears, and you need 3 teams instead of 2. This one is even more difficult than Epic Conquerors Challenge, simply due to the fact that you have to have 3 teams and you have to have SSR pluses or URs for all 3 teams. However, the rewards typically seem a little better, and red buff gears are a lot easier to get than red normal gears. Back onto Epic Conquerors Challenge, we will get into Refinement. Now, this is Refinement, also found in the supply depot here in the lobby kind of area. Now, specifically, you are doing Refinement for these purple buff gear, or purple Star Ascension cards, also known as Refinement cards. Now, what these do is they let you get like the purple stars on your gear, which I'll show you in just a bit, probably later in the video. And so you generally want to get these. However, this box thing does, why did I click that again? The box does drop both red buff gear items and red gear items. Now, earlier I did mention black tickets, and this is what you use them on. This is the Awakening Recruitment. Now, specifically, this is important because this is how you get UR or UR plus soon characters. You can pull 180, and I will show you why 180 in just a bit. But you can pull for 180 tickets, and you can get a UR character. Now, this is why it's 180, because of this. Now, at 180 black tickets right here, you get the Awakening Stone. Now, the Awakening Stone is what you need to awaken a UR character. You get at least 3 evolution stones from the pulling process, from this, and then add on the one that you're very much likely to get from the pulls themselves, means you get a fully free character. And then next up, we also have the keepsake tickets. Now, I could show them here now. So you pay 8 keepsake tickets. You need 70 total to get a keepsake. Now, it's a little different here because it looks like it's been reset, because it is. However, this is the first phase, and you get the keepsake after 8 pulls. But you get this like discount on a few of them, like 20, 50, 30% off. It's weird. But you do get a completely free UR characters keepsake. They're not completely free, sometimes free. However, keepsake tickets do take a lot longer to get than black tickets, so I would recommend to be very conservative with the way you pull for keepsakes. Next up is the Superb Recruitment. Now, this is important because you can get previous LSSR characters as well as SSR Plus character Awakening Stones in your pulls. Now, generally I'd go for Drive Knight and then Deep Sea King's Awakening Stone, as those are probably the most important, but you can also go for Subterranean King, or is Gory Boss in here? I can't remember if Gory Boss is in here. No, he's not. Anyway, I'd go for Deep Sea King, Drive Knight, or Subterranean King. But if you already have those guys, then you can just go get like Atomic Samurai or Gara or whoever the hell else you'd need. However, I would also recommend to get these LSSR characters when you need them. These are kind of rare, but if you're high enough ranked in Honor Battle, then you should get about 6 or 7 per every 2-3 weeks. So not the worst, but overall not really the greatest. Next up is Elite and Epic Recruitment. Now, specifically, we're going to start off with Elite. Now, Elite is what you need to be pulling on as much as possible. That's mostly because after 5 pulls, after starting out, you get your first SSR. After your first SSR, you do need to reach 220 red ticket pulls so that you can get Bangpoo, specifically, or Bomb, however it translates, from the character selection box. That's why you need to pull 220. You also get like a UR Evolution Stone from my knowledge. However, it's still very nice, and you should have more than enough gems to be able to do this. Then there's Epic Recruitment. This is just for when you have the tickets to pull on it. You don't usually get anything good from this other than the N and R characters. Next up is gear. Now, to start off with, I should mention that you should only ever dismantle defense gears or completely useless gear. Now, I already have them all dismantled. However, there is one exception to that rule. Never dismantle monk or gunner, never dismantle a monk, gunner, or magic speed gear if it has def on it. Specifically because it has speed, which means it can indeed be used for a character still, because usually speedsters don't need the top stat. Just don't upgrade their actual gear part. However, generally I would say just get rid of them, because you'll probably find another speed gear at some point. However, what you can do with gear that is not defense and you have all your characters is you can upgrade it. Now, normal characters or normal gear only needs these gear XP cards. However, red gears need the energy binding cards to also upgrade them. Do keep in mind that a base red gear is a higher stat than a max level orange gear. So speaking of upgrades, you can also use Star Ascension cards. Now, before I tell you how to use them and the amounts you can use them in, I need to mention that these are the most important resource in the game. If you use these wrong, it costs you gems and you have to fix it. So first of all, I would recommend to never star gear that is not attack percent, HP percent, attack crit, or attack crit damage. Now, the reason I say this is because using your Star Ascension cards is only ever useful on this kind of gear with HP percent, HP percent, attack percent, etc. Or even or something with speed. You can star speed too. But you should never star an HP def, or an attack def, or an attack HP percent, or any of those other gears. Only do it when it has the percentage and the base stat. That is specifically something that you need to keep in mind whenever you are upgrading. I've seen this happen way too often, and as soon as it's fixed, it's like a night and day difference damage-wise. Now, to get Star Ascension cards, you need to pull on the gear materials, bonus chest things. Anyway, Only pull on this when there is a rate up. The reason I say that is because you get a higher chance of getting Star Ascension cards. I'm a little stupid, and sometimes I'd pull without that, but that's just because I have a lot already, and so I'm not sweating if I don't get the Star Ascension cards, because I just need like maybe 1 or 2. So keep that in mind. However, there's also the Refinement cards. These can only be used on gear that has Star Ascension cards. It has a very similar curve. However, you need 3, I think 6. What else do you need? Sorry, I'm not entirely knowing on the curve there. So it's like 3, 6, 12, and then like 20 and there are 22 and 30. I think it's something like that. Maybe 24, 30. However, I can only ever recommend to use these on your main character. Do not use these on characters that you are not actively upgrading. Speaking of, you should only use Star Ascension cards on your highest damage character until you have enough to move on to another character. For example, a nice little checkpoint I like to say is when you can 4-star one character with all their other stuff, when you can 4-star all of this gear, then you can start upgrading another character. Then once that other character reaches 4 stars on all their gear, then you can go to 5-star on your first character, and then 5-star on your second, and then, you know, so on and so forth. So 6 is the maximum, however, so keep that in mind. Then next up is the exclusive items. Keepsake and Insignia. Already showed you how to get the Keepsake. However, Insignia you need to get from usually Peak Arena or random events. These are harder to get than Keepsakes, in my opinion, and they sometimes take longer. So next up is HeroXMonster and the other assorted modes in this area. This area being the challenge area. Now, HeroXMonster does cap out at around Gen 12 stage 24. However, what you need to know is that for monster stages, you need to use heroes, and for hero stages, you need to use monsters. These are a lot easier with URs. So do keep that in mind, as well as the replays being possible to see. Then we also have the extreme training. Now, this is great because you just get to make whatever team you want to here. For example, I have Garo in here. If I wanted to use a different character to get different shards, I could. Then next up we have the Institute of Genetics. Now this is great if you're trying to actually run it, but after you finish the entire thing, you just sweep it. Now what you always want to get is anything that increases your damage, because things will start to one-shot you after a certain point if you don't have a good core. So make sure that you have a good core. However, you just skip and sweep and then skip animation. Anything like initial energy, block rate, damage free, you generally want those things. Skip past that, and boom, now you're done. Max that at room 812, and other than that, not super important. The store is important though. If you need character shards, these are great ways to get that. Then after that, we have core trial. Now this is important that you do it, however I completely ignore it because I'm stupid. However, you select a research diagram, and then you recruit characters, and you fight through the stages until you get to the boss, who has an effect like being immune to DOT, that being like fire or corrode or something, and you get some rewards for that. It's not crazy. It's been around for the longest time, and they finally actually started adding the URs to it. However, it's not all of them yet, sadly. All right, next up is Mirage Trial. Now this is found in the Explore area when you open up Train, and you go in here, and so you have 6 different modes that you can do in here. I've already finished all of them. However, you get 50 chances. They actually only very recently allowed you to buy extra chances with gems. However, you get Stable and Wild. They're very difficult if you don't have very good characters. So make sure that when you really try to push for this, that you have the good characters. But overall, still a very good mode. You get a lot of your emblems. You get at least the first level. Speaking of emblems, here we are in the emblem page, right here in skill, then emblem. Now you get 1 level of each of these. However, the ones I would recommend to start maining first is Distorted Field, Sharp Blade, and maybe Piercing Sword. Undying Shield is also good, especially its like ultimate version. However, it's all just something you all got to get done regardless. Next up is Crescent Tower. Now this one is also important because it helps you get your tactic cards and all your rewards and stuff. So keep in mind that lower crescent, or this low crescent, has all specialized unyielding on every character that you're fighting, as well, or every enemy character. And then up crescent has the like Child Emperor core or something. Upper crescent is way easier than lower crescent. However, they both give the same amount of rewards roughly. This is the tactic cards page. Now you get Hero, Monster, Duelist, Grappler, High Tech, and Esper. For most people, you should go for the effect and not this bonus. However, I find the effects less useful than I would just having this bonus, so that's why I'm using it. Keep in mind that there is this tactic card thing. Now, this also gets rate ups, but sometimes those rate ups kind of suck, so I wouldn't always recommend pulling on them, but generally you should pull on the rate ups and ignore what I'm saying sometimes. Then there's also the tactic album. Now this helps you get higher tier items in this shop. However, sometimes that's a bad thing if you're just trying to start out. So I wouldn't recommend doing the album until you have all the sets that you want. Then you can also transfer some of the stars onto other versions of these things. So if I go find, say this one, 1-star monster. Well, I have a 3-star hero if I wanted to. If it wasn't placed in, I could press that button and I would be able to transfer the 3 stars onto that one. And it does keep the hero one, so keep that in mind. You don't lose it. Also, something important is in the tactic bag you have frames. Now, these are great because they increase your HP and stuff. If I can find, there it is, specialist frame, you get HP and defense. Now, this is super great. It gives you lots of BP. Next up is formation, also found in the skill then now formation. Now, this is a little bit more difficult to get into, since you need these like blue things. So that you get these things from Nightmare version of the exploration story stuff. Now you get enhancer bag, so you get all the stuff, and then you get catalog. I'm not entirely sure how to use all this, by the way. I'm not really aware. However, you do get like some stat bonuses and stuff from this, which is annoying because it's really hard to do that. Then there's also the formation supplies. This is great. Then there's also tier up, which allows you to use more of these energy things. I am currently struggling because I don't get to have the third one. Then you get your formation battle, or your battle formation, which you get to choose where the buffs that you get are. Next up is home. Now this has parties, figurine, back gear, but we're going to start with parties. Now you can host them. You can host up to 3 per day. And you just go into the section, you press host, and it automatically does it. Then you can also join parties, and you just kind of select the person you want to join, and it does it. However, I would always recommend to try to join the highest parties you can, that being purple or blue, as they have the highest chance of giving you lots of gems, like upwards of 50, I think. Next up is back gear. Now this is something only really for whales. However, hopefully we should be able to get some extra stuff on the 6th anniversary. Is the hope. However, good luck getting any of them because it sucks. Then we got figurine. Now this is probably like one of the most important things outside of Star Ascension cards, because you need to limit break as many characters as possible so that your stats can get as high as possible, because the more you limit break, the more of this percentage and the more of this plus that you get. So for example, on group 11 here, if I had 4 6-star characters here, then I would get an extra 1% to all of my stats, or all the important stats being attack, def, and HP. Def is not important, by the way. But attack and HP, that's huge increases on BP. So that's why you should always be, that's why you should never recycle your shards. You should always just use them. And then once you cannot use them anymore, since maybe you have them all maxed out, then you can start getting rid of them. Then there's also these bases that you can place down. Really, that's the least important thing, but still very useful. Helps you get even more stats out of this. After that, we have home request. Now, generally, I'd recommend to always try to get as many of this as possible while also maxing this out. So I would maybe select that. Then I'd select those 2. Refresh another time. Boom, boom. And then get that last one. And then boom, we got all 3. And then we got also 3 tickets there. Then I would recommend to get this one, this one, this one, and this one, as those will generally give you the best items. And then you get gems and some resist orange gear. So not too bad. Overall, you get 10 of these things, and they're super nice. Then we have achievements. Now this is a little rarer to get nowadays, as achievements are kind of rare. I'm sure there's a higher ranking person than me. I don't know how to actually check that ranking. However, this just gives you gems mostly. I remember it being a pretty decent source of gems back when I started. However, it's really not so much now anymore. And then also we got laboratory. Now this is where you put your core characters in, and you can level up their core. Like for example, Boros here, I'm at level 10, so I get this one. And generally you can check details, and it'll tell you what stats you get and what level everything has to be here. So for example, if this was level 11, then I could upgrade the core to level 11. Actually, you know what? I could do that, but I'd rather not right now. Just as an example. Or like Child Emperor here, if this was level 10, then that was level 10, and then if all 6 of these were level 10, then I could get this third version of the core. Next up, we have exercise and training. Now, exercise, you mostly just test your damage here. Overall, not crazy to do, but still pretty nice. Then we have training. Now this is also super important to get done. All you need to do is 1 through 7. Don't do the battle training because it just costs a lot of books that you could be using for other things. Although, just get them all to 100%. Try to do it 1 at a time here, as it does do the best. Then with that, that's about all of home. So also visiting. This is something I don't really use a whole lot, but you can visit your friends' homes, you can visit club homes, visitors that have been here recently. So 0, oh, interesting. And then the journal, people that have hosted parties or passed through my home, claimed a party box, etc. You can do visitors, friends, or club. I just keep it on all because there's no reason to go to just friends or club. And then overall, not so bad. I like getting likes though. Next up, we have arena. Now, what's really important here is that you need to get to diamond as fast as possible. Now, that's because diamond will give you the most gems. Here, let me show you. Diamond gives you the most gems, over 200. Also, gold gives you second, and so, not to mention that progressing into these areas give you more and more gems as the closer you get to 1 as possible. So, honestly, try to get to 1 on all of them, just so that you can get as many gems as possible. Although you don't need to get to 1, as you get the rewards for just going up a rank or going for up a battle zone kind of thing. So if I'm say rank 20 and I promote to diamond, then I will be in diamond and I will get all the rewards for these. Point rewards or rank discounts are also good to keep in mind. Try to get as many gems as possible. Next we have peak arena. Now this is hero versions, or this is a hero only arena where you attack other players. Overall, this is kind of a lame thing other than the bad shard chests, which you always need. However, you get 3 chances to fight, and Monster Arena is the exact same way. I'm not super highly ranked here in Monster. It's actually kind of difficult for me. Tournament, I mean, honestly, just kind of sweep these. This is also important as you get the R&D Omni Shard. This can also give you UR shards, which is why you want that. Then 50 gems. Martial Dojo. Now this is also important because you can get 3-star Ascension cards, some locks, and these type manuals. These things are the hardest things to get in like the entire game actually. So try to get as many as possible because it sucks to get them. Then we have Live Clash, the mode that nobody ever does. The reason why nobody ever does it is just because it's really boring. However, you do get stat bonuses for being higher ranked in here. So kind of okay, but also like you get 3% arena damage and an extra 2% on stats. Not particularly crazy, but still not so bad. Not to mention, in the actual mode, if you do 6 attacks, you just get 100 gems. Which isn't bad, especially if you just want to get the red ticket things done. Then we have Endless Battle Zone. Now this is honestly one of the more fun modes, because you get like 350 gems a month from this, or like maybe every week from this, which is like one of the best parts about this. You have to get to 2,000 though to get all 350 gems. Then we also have Honor Battle. This one gives the best rewards, in my opinion, as you go through all the zones. I honestly think Honor Zone probably gives the best rewards, though, sadly. I like theirs the most because you get, like, actually good things from the chests in here. You get actually good things from these instead of really, really shitty stuff. Now, this is kind of towards the end, but the best starting character is going to either be Mel's or Metal Knight. I say this because this is the new event. You get the martial artist frenzy kind of thing. Keep in mind, never awaken Bakuzan. Bakuzan's completely garbage. But so Metal Knight or Melzerguard is going to be the best character you can get there. So either one is good. So just choose your poison and get whichever. Now, next up and probably actually, hold on, next up and I think third to last is Training Center in the city kind of area. You have Expedition where you fight stages. You get your auto reward. You kind of just get that whenever. Member Training. Now you put in your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 highest level characters, and then you can put in as many characters here, like I think up to 22 characters, and they get the average level of all these characters. Then you have Skill Training, which takes the average skill level of all these characters, and then you can upgrade these so that your characters down here get all those skills. After the, oh really? Okay, so that's dumb. I don't like that. Anyway, once you get high enough level, you can just upgrade, and then you get all the upgrades you need for that. Then you also have Core Refinement. Now this is really nice because you get like nice stats. For example, crit res rate, super nice here, by the way, because Garo super uses that. And specialized defense, also really good. The only version of defense that's actually useful. And then you use these things for that. And if you want to lock 1 or 2, then you got to use these little core thingies. And finally, in Training Center, we have like the central type training. This is mostly for speed. Outside of anything else, it's kind of like just like increasing base stats. Then we also have the central high tech. Outside of what it actually sounds like, central high tech is actually just using these little cube things, and you upgrade your stats here. This actually takes a really long time, so don't be worried if you can't get this done in a short amount of time. So it's all good. Okay, and second to last, we have the Mall. Now this gives you 4 resets every 6 hours or so, I think, and you can buy like these things, or you could buy a whole bunch of stuff there. Generally, I just buy whatever I have or whatever I need. For example, I need a lot of qualifications. Then we have the Arena Store, which gives, I believe that's 2 SSR Omni chests and 3 of those tickets of each ticket. And then we got the Memory Essence. That's also good too. Then we got the Club one, which you get the R&D books or the basic skill books or shards. Then you got the Gene Store, the Duel Store, which is like the tournament store, really, is what it should be called. Then we also have the Core Store, which is for the Core Trial. Disaster Store, which is for World Disaster. I don't really do it, though, because I just am too bored to actually do any of it. Overall, it's whatever. Peak, this is for Peak Arena, where you get the Badge Shards and the Star Signature cards. And then we have Battle Type, which is for Martial Dojo, and you get the Star Stitch cards, locks, etc., or the gear if you need that too. Next up is the Saitama area. Now this is literally just down here, and you do your Saitama quests. Now this game does force you to learn how to do this, by the way, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but you generally just skip the ones that are highest, and then you go just add as many of these as you can just to get as many coins. Investigation, you need 30 of, at least from when I usually do it. You get the Mystery Vault 2, which I can actually open here. Don't use these, by the way, to unlock the entire thing. I just do that for as an example here. Now, keep in mind that this could give gems, keys, like a whole bunch of things under the sun. So this is super great. One of my favorite things of the game is just these chests that you get for free. All right, there we go. We got gems. Nice. All right, with all the rewards claimed, that's about it. And then we can get gems, stamina, whatever the hell, from this as well. But I just do the 30 times because the other option is a one-time. Next up, we have memory. Now, this is really just, you need the Saitama coins for this. And you just do all of these. Just get them all done. That's what you need to do. After that, you have these things which you can use to get certain parts. You can use these for Omni Shards, or those are like the Omni Shards for this. Then we have the talent. This is also like, this has been done, but basically you just clear all of these. I would recommend getting speed first, or as much as you can first. And finally, actually, like finally, we have the hero backup stick, or special as it's called in Southeast Asia. This is basically just you do the quests and you get a character. This is something you do have to pay for, by the way, and you have to buy at least 40 levels so that you can make it to level 200 and get the character box. Then you also get an evolution stone. Always buy the evolution stone. Everything else is optional, but the evolution stone is not. And make sure to do your quests every week. These do reset after a week. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's One Punch Man the Strongest video. If you did enjoy, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Join the Discord server in the description down below, and if you'd like to support me, please share the channel around, or you can give me some coupons with the UID and SID, and help me do polls in the future. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!